I'm Steve.
And I'm Les.
This is Tabletop Tastings. Here we have a bit of a special episode.
We do.
Because our good friend Tyler at Seaway Whisky Wire challenged us to put up his 7 most interesting, or just 7 bottles from your collection. He also challenged the guys over at Whiskey on the Coast and Whiskey Neighbor. So we're looking forward to seeing theirs.
And we're happy to say, challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. So, maybe not the most interesting. I think we got a pretty good collection.
We have an
going
interesting collection here for sure.
I think so too.
Now, how does this work? Did he have categories?
Yeah, so we have 7 different categories.
Okay.
So let's just start off with the first one.
Perfect.
So Scotch was the first.
Okay, and we say most interesting, but if there's a winner, we're the winners on this one here. Because our Scotch is phenomenal.
This Scotch, it's magical.
It is.
It's
magical.
Really
that is the word.
Magical.
Yeah.
It is like a caramel bomb going off in your mouth every time you take a sip. So what we have is the Craig Alecky 13-year-old brought to us by Valanche and Malt.
And at Tabletop Tastings, we do whiskey board game pairings.
Yes.
And this whiskey we had paired with Castles of Burgundy, which is a phenomenal game.
Phenomenal.
But this drink
Yeah.
is just so good. It's so rich, so
tasty.
Complex, so delicious. Every second it's in your mouth is a party that I want to be at.
Yeah.
This thing is fantastic.
It is an awesome Scotch. If you can find a bottle of this, go out and get it.
Valanche and Malt does something very special with this drink. They are more kind of like high-end blenders type thing.
Exactly.
But the Craig Alecky 13-year-old is just so rich and flavorful. And this is one that if you haven't had a chance to try it or you ever see a bottle, grab it. Try it. It's fantastic.
Yeah. In fact, and if you see Valanche and Malt anywhere, just grab a bottle.
Yeah.
They do rum. They do other expressions as well. Fan-stinking-tastic. This Scotch, though, from Craig Alecky, next level.
It is next level.
Next level.
It's a very interesting bottle.
Yes.
And it's great.
Exactly. Good. So that's our Scotch.
What's our next category?
So the next category is rye.
Ooh. So with rye, interesting bottles, we've got the Signature Rye by Wayne Gretzky Distilleries. And this is extra special for us because we know the master distiller, Tim. We've spent some time with him. He's given us a private tour throughout the facility. He let us try this right off the still.
So good.
Phenomenal individual, phenomenal distillery, and one that's grown because when they first came out, you know, their product was just, but it's gotten better. And
so good.
The Signature Rye, it's cost effective. What is it, $49.99 a bottle? And it's really, really good stuff. It's one of my favorite ryes right now, and especially my favorite rye at the price point.
No, exactly. So, are there better ryes out there? Sure. However, not for the price point, and not from the passion that Tim and his team put behind it. And so this is the first expression that they've released that is completely, has their fingerprint all over it. They've distilled it, they've matured it, they toasted the barrels that they finished it in. They've touched every single aspect of this bottle. That's why it makes our list of the 7.
Absolutely. This is Tim in a bottle.
Yeah,
and it's
it is. Yeah. If you ever get the chance to run out to Wayne Gretzky Distillery, estate winery out in Niagara-on-the-Lake, do it and ask for Tim.
That's right. It's one of the greats. And we paired this with our playthrough of Marvel United, another fantastic board game that's easy to get into, and it's just all around solid.
So next on our list...
You must be excited.
I am very excited. So next on our list is bourbon. Ooh. And so...
This is a tough category because there's so many phenomenal, and we're talking interesting. So there's so many unique and interesting bourbons out there. Narrowing this down to our most interesting was such a tough job.
It was tough, but it was also an easy decision for me because this bottle is from some guys that I really enjoy listening to, and they are the center of the bourbon world.
Okay.
And so let's just release to you guys. Let's show you. So what we have is the Pursuit United bourbon. So I had a friend actually bring this bottle for me from the States, and it is quintessential. Like, it is just, it's bourbon. You cannot taste it and come up with any other thing than that's bourbon. Yeah. So what's happened here is the guys at Bourbon Pursuit, so they have an awesome podcast. If you want to know anything about bourbon, anything about the whiskey world, go and listen to their podcast. And so what they've done is, over the last few years, they've started bringing in bottles or bringing in barrels and maturing them and doing and blending them. So they've become master blenders, really. And they've blended into perfection what it means to release a bourbon. And that's exactly what we have in this bottle. Yeah. It is just, it's like perfect. You want a bourbon, you want a Pursuit United. That's all it is.
You want to pursue your bourbon in a united fashion.
In fact, give me a second. I got to grab a glass.
So that's what I did. So I poured off a little bit here. And it's really the
We're going to probably just finish this now.
Of smoothness from this bottle is excellent.
It is, so...
Yeah. I mean, you can give a little more there, too.
It is just like... When you think of bourbon...
You know what I think of?
This is what the flavor should be. Are there better bourbons? Perhaps. However, I think that they've blended it just the right amount and at just the perfect match to produce what anyone who drinks bourbon would say, yeah, that's a bourbon. There's no, they don't pull any punches about, they're not going to finish in different Brazilian woods, or they're going to do this and that. No, they want to be purist about it and produce an awesome bourbon.
Well, you must like this one, because I think it's the first time you shared it with me.
And the bottle was basically empty.
It's really, really nice, though. And we talk about, what's the bad word for whiskey, and that's smooth. Yeah. But this is smooth.
It is.
It's really, really easy drinking.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah. So, and it's like, it's quintessential bourbon. Like, there's no mistake. I'm not tasting this going, oh, is that, if it was a blind test.
Yeah, the second it's in your mouth,
That's, okay, this is bourbon, and that's what we want. If you're a bourbon enthusiast, that's what you want. When you pick up a bottle of it, that's what you're going to get if you grab a bottle of Pursuit United.
Amazing.
So, the next category was a wheated. Shall we introduce to you?
We have Law's Straight Wheat whiskey finished in Caraco.
No. So I was corrected on the video that we released when I opened this bottle. Okay. And so it's Curaçao cask. So it's a Brazilian.
This bottle is special to me because I had the chance to go to Denver, Colorado. Yeah. I had a chance to go visit the Law's distillery, get a tour, try some of their cask strength products, and saw a selection that I had no idea existed by Law's. And I know that we love their regular wheated. This is from their experimental line. But this is just... Everything I've had from Law's, I love. And when we're talking wheated, this is a treat when it comes to the wheated spirit.
100%. And it's a special bottle because my good friend Les picked it up for me from the distillery. So I couldn't go with him.
Yeah. That's nice.
Giggle. Yeah. It is, so so Law's does everything grain to glass. So they make it, they distill it, everything is done by them. So again, kind of like the Wayne Gretzky, their fingerprint is on every aspect of this. And what I love about the wheated is I think it just makes it so much smoother. So it is a bourbon, but it's just like so much smoother, right? So they'll do that with their bourbons. They'll do it. This one's 100% wheat, but like it's so good. I'm lost for words when I start talking about it. And what I really love about this wheated one, and I had it with another one, which is just their like regular 100% wheat. It's like 2 bottles in one. Let me explain. So you pour some out, you have a couple of sips, add a few drops of water, and it just releases all of these spices, and it completely changes the drink. It's so cool, and it's 2 bottles in one when you do that.
You know what I like? I like these beefy,
chunky
stops, corks that go in the top.
Yeah, and they're, it's like a decanter.
Yeah.
Right off the shelf.
There's stuff, anything from Laws is delicious. If you're looking for something weeded, that's interesting. This bottle
that is what
definitely
you 100% want. It's so good.
Steve, I'm really excited about our next 3. The last 2 I'm super excited about.
Okay, so we're going to go on to our finished whiskey. This was a difficult category for me to kind of figure out, okay, what are we going to do? And I had actually a few names written down for it. And it's all over the place. So finished whiskey, like, you can go
so many directions
with it. However, we're part of a group called Truth Malters. And these guys bring in some of the best that the world has to offer into Canada.
They sure do.
And they've brought in from Sweden one of the coolest bottles of alcohol I've ever had of whiskey. It is just like, it's almost perfection. It is so good. What we're going to use for our finished whiskey is the High Coast Cinco. So the Cinco stands for the fact...
Oh, even popping it again.
It's beautiful.
Sounds so good.
It's so nice. So the Cinco stands for, they have finished this in 5 different sherry casks.
Why?
I don't know, but I'm happy they did it. Because, like, even if you don't like sherry, things finished in sherry, you are going to love this.
And personally, I do love things finished in sherry.
Most things, anything finished in sherry is fantastic.
The more sherries, the better is the mentality that they've taken with that.
Yeah. High Coast, so Truth Malters, they only bring in what is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff.
And actually, our next bottle is actually from these guys as well that they've brought in.
Excited.
However, the High Coast is such an amazing... Look them up. See if you can find a bottle, because they are, what I understand, from the highest distillery in the world. Highest elevation distillery in the world. Right up in Sweden. And these guys take their time to make it right. And they've done it with the Cinco.
Yeah, and they're slightly smaller bottles.
Sherry.
These are only 500 mils.
Yeah.
But they pack a lot of flavor into this little package.
So much, yeah. So that's our finished whiskey, Cinco, High Coast.
Hold me back, Steve. Hold me back.
All right.
Next category.
Single malt.
Single malt. Where do I even begin with this one? There's something so special, so rich, so flavorful, so magnificent. This bottle of Cavaline single malt whiskey, finished in
Oloroso sherry.
My goodness, Cavaline has done something special.
There's more in that than I thought there would be.
This opened my eyes to what whiskey can be, and the experience you can have through different distilleries and companies. But Cavaline is onto something special. Every single product they make is amazing. Yeah. What can you tell us about this bottle?
So, funny enough, single malt from Taiwan. And so the first time I've had Cavaline was an Oloroso sherry. A little bit different bottling than this. And I've said it before, I basically had tears in my eyes because I'm like, this is like perfect whiskey. Yeah. It is just so well balanced. It still hits you with that little bit of sherry in the face, and it's just so smooth.
It's just delicious.
It's just delicious. It really is. It's deliciousness in a bottle.
And this is in your cup. One bottle. So this was, we brought this on early on in Tabletop Tastings.
Second episode, I think it was.
Episode 2. Terraforming Mars,
yeah.
the dice game, which is a great game. Recommend playing it.
Yeah.
But this is one bottle that Steve and I, we only drink from it together.
Yes.
We've gotten together a few times and enjoyed it again.
Yeah.
But it is something really, really special.
Yeah. So Kavalan from Taiwan, it is all single malts. You cannot go wrong.
No, and they can be a little on the pricier side.
Sure.
But you're never going to be disappointed with a bottle of Kavalan.
Not at all. You know, if you're not really into a lot of whiskeys or you're new into it, this is like a great special occasions bottle.
I'm excited about the last one too, because the last one's special.
It is uber special. So the last category was kind of like your unicorn or something hard to get.
We've had a lot of good stuff. I mean, Kavalan's just been in there. Booker's.
Yeah.
Oh, and so many good things that we've tried. This bottle, though, like...
Yeah. All right, let's bring it out.
It's good. It's
so
good.
Ardbeg, Bizarre BQ. Oh. So I had my reservations about it. I love Ardbeg. Ardbeg is fantastic. You know, that peaty, that smoky, it's going to punch you in the face. That's what Ardbeg is all about. This one is just like next level.
Yeah, like
they teamed up with a barbecue expert, and then their master distiller was like, okay, we'll select these barrels, and they put 3 different barrels together, including one that's called barbecue. What that is, I don't care. It's fantastic. It really tastes like barbecue sauce.
Like if you think, you know, let's
and whiskey.
Throw a glop of barbecue sauce in your whiskey, would that be good? You would think, no, that would ruin, be disgusting. No. This somehow encapsulates that, where it tastes like barbecue sauce in Ardbeg, and just how it's blended together. It's incredible.
So good. It really, it's like I'm sitting out on my back deck waiting for the smoker to be done, and I'm sipping away. I love it.
Pure enjoyment. And that's why when we paired this bottle, we chose Dorf Romantic, the board game, to pair it with, which is just a sit back, outside, relax, and build together.
Yeah, it's not even like a cooperative game. It's like you got to play together and just be together and have some fun.
And that's what this bottle encapsulates. Yeah. It's just good times between buddies. Yeah. Like, you can't go wrong with that.
Les, I'd say it's happiness in a bottle.
Happiness in a bottle is a great way to describe it. Yeah.
It is so fantastic. Okay. Well, that's our 7 bottles. I think they're pretty unique. I think they're interesting. They are truly tabletop tasting bottles.
They are.
So thank you, Tyler, Seaway Whisky Wire. And the other 2 guys are Whiskey on the Coast and Whiskey Neighbor. Check theirs out as well. Thanks for watching.
My name is Les.
And I'm Steve.
This is Tabletop Tastings.
And it is.